back to another video. My name is Elizea and I'm your favorite black transsexual. Get up into the big part, whatever. How my babies doing, girl? You already know. Tell me how y'all doing in the comment section. You know the comment section is open, girl. I'm here to, talk and chit chat. But girl, that's not what y'all are here for, girl. You seen the title, and girl, I know y'all might be like, girl, what are we finna get into today, girl? I see you. I'm like, girl, this is gonna get ghetto, girl. Before we get to today's video, girl, I need you guys to like, comment, and subscribe because you would never find another black transsexual like me. Hello. I'm beautiful. You're beautiful. Get up into the bed or whatever. Go ahead and lock in on myself. So today's Unpopular Opinions video is going to be a little different. It's going to be unpopular opinions on the trans community because, girl, I feel like I want to say some things, and, I know they might ruffle a lot of people's feathers, but you only live once, so might as well, girl. Bada bing, bada boom. The first unpopular opinion that I have is that nobody outside of the trans community needs to be speaking up for the trans community because you do not walk our path. A lot of people might be like, oh my goodness, I don't care, I'm going to still speak up because I'm still queer. How are you as a gay person, anybody who is not trans, talking about something that does not involve you? What I don't understand is I see a lot of gay boys and I see a lot of, femme girls, and I see a lot of straight women sit over here and say, you people want to be girls so bad. Y'all going into the girls' restroom. I would never allow my niece. I would never allow my daughter in the restroom with you. You're just a man. You're just a man cosplaying as a girl. Man. It's like, girl, you don't even know me. Like, you don't even know my sisters. Why are you judging a book by its cover? I hate to see gays like this.
Talk about trans women using women's restrooms. Let's talk about it because it's interesting. So I've been seeing around lately that there was this, I don't know exactly what to say, but somebody was coming on somebody, and because in the past 2 weeks they were caught in a woman's bathroom, and I think there was a child there or something. Like, it turned into a whole situation. And I'm not even gonna lie, like, as a grown adult with a normal operating brain who has nieces, nephews, cousins, and all that, I personally would not want my nieces and my young little girl cousins and all that really being in the same space as a, biological male when you're supposed to, specific spaces designated for just.
Pause. Everybody keeps thinking, when you're trans and you're sitting over here, getting into your transition, that we're supposed to be competing with women. Who really said this besides these colored folks? I'm just saying, I'm speaking truthful facts. Because my skin tone, people really don't care to be in sports. We're the dolls. We're not trying to sit here and do manly things, if I'm being 100% for real. And I don't care who gets their feathers ruffled by me saying this. I truly don't want to be in sports, and neither does a lot of these dolls. But if you're a doll who's on hormones since you were like 8 years old, I can understand you getting into women's sports because, girl, you don't have the bone structure of a man. You don't have muscles. You can't beat up people. Like, girl, you're a doll. You're one of the girls. If we're going to be for real and 100% for real, you get what I mean? You get what I mean? So for this bottom, and I'm being real biased because this is my YouTube channel. I don't care. This bottom, the fact that he's, including all of us and saying all of these biological men, you have me absolutely blown, because not every biological man, not every, trans person wants to sit here and, bother people.
That's weird.
If, whatever we're going to call this person, if this person was to walk into the girls' restroom, and be for real, dolls, be for real. If this person was to walk into the girls' restroom claiming that they're trans, and maybe they truly are trans, how would you feel? Would you want your nieces and nephews to be in the girls' restroom with them? But then what baffles me is that you're saying that all trans women look like that. Honey, no. I am young, I am black, and I am show as hell pretty. You have me absolutely beat up thinking I'm gonna be built like a beat up box Chevy going into the girls' restroom. If I don't have lashes on, if I don't have makeup on, if I'm bald headed, you think I'm gonna go into the girls' restroom? So, like, it baffles me that, people are sitting here thinking that every trans woman wants to sit here and harass kids when that's not even the case. We're going to always have those people in every community. Black, white, Mexican, straight, lesbian. We're going to always have those, files, I can't say the actual word on here, but we're gonna always have those people in this world, and you can't sit here and say that all trans people are like that, because not all white people are racist. Not every black person is a colorist. Not every Mexican person wants to say the N-word in your face. Stop sitting here, saying the whole majority of group of people are like that, because no, we're not. No, we're not. So let's continue the video.
On a sports team already, so competing against women because we're just naturally gonna beat them. Naturally, it's just bound to happen. I don't think that we also should be using the same bathroom, because now what happens when the cases and the groupings and the and all that happens? Now what?
And so then that's where, like I said, why are you including every trans person when that happens? Because if we're gonna be for real, black men do the same thing. White men do the same thing. Biological straight people do the same thing. Not every trans person is out to a little. Not every trans person is out here trying to, razzle dazzle and mingle with little ones. No. So stop sitting here saying that. And then what baffles me about a lot of straight people, or a lot of, queens of this skin tone, I'm being really rude because I don't care. If you don't want trans people in the women's restroom, why don't y'all give us a restroom to ourselves? Y'all be like, oh, well, you need to go into the men's restroom. You belong in the men's restroom because you're biologically a male. Honey, if I go to the boys' restroom looking like this, do you really think they're going to look at me the same way? You are a woman. Why aren't you in the girls' restroom? What are you doing here? Because, honey, the times that I have actually went into the boys' restroom looking like this, or, with my wig on looking very cunty and, fishy. Why are you in here? Oh my God, it's a girl and a boys' restroom. All hell will break loose. If I'm being 100% for real, this is a serious matter that we have to talk about. And then a lot of men are very predatory. They're nasty creatures. And how do I know this, honey? I'm a doll. I know what I'm talking about. So you cannot sit here and say that every trans person is like this, because not every trans person is like this. Not every trans person, like I said multiple times, is out here to touch little kids. And then on top of that, not every trans person has the ability to sit here and pass. Not every trans person doesn't have the mouth, doesn't have the equipment to give full doll and, full everything. You can tell the difference between a man and a trans person. There is a big difference. Everybody keeps thinking this is just, a lifestyle. No, this is a journey that we have to go through every single day. You think we just woke up and decided, let me sit here and, get hate crime for the rest of my life? No. Let me add this little 2 cents in. We all have seen Lily Tony going viral lately on TikTok, and for what she's been doing and representing the trans community. Those type of trans people are really setting us back so many years, because they're doing so many biased and horrific things that are tarnishing our image. Like, let's be for real and let's call a spade a spade.
And how many times I have to tell y'all that? Y'all act more slow than me.
I see content like that, and it's like, it's coming from misogyny, it's coming from ignorance, it's coming from a lack of, being open-minded. You're judging a book by its cover, and you're not trying to actually get to know the person. Me, as a trans person, I always try to be open-minded. I always try to get to know somebody and not judge them just based off of ignorance or just based off what I hear. Like, I try to get to know them, because you don't know what a person is going through. You don't know the backstory to a person. You don't know the backstory to our journey. And then I see a lot of women sit over here and say that I'm very scared to go to a restaurant with a man, when it's like, why are you even saying man? Like, okay, I can understand, me as a trans woman, I might look clocky. If I look clocky and I feel like I don't pass, or I feel like I look like a man, I would go into the guy's restroom, or I just want to go to the restroom at all, because I don't want to even deal with that type of ignorance. But I see videos like this,
getting pressed for being in the girls' bathroom.
it's like you don't get no cool points from crapping on a trans woman, because I say this loud and proud, a trans woman is a form of a womanhood is different. I don't put myself in the same category as a woman, because like I don't go through what you go through, but I'm just enough woman. I'm just a different form of a woman, and I wish that a lot of people would understand that I'm a different human being, and I'm in my own path, and I don't mean to invade people's spaces. I don't mean to sit over here and scare people. I'm just me, and I don't want to hide myself, and none of my sisters want to hide themselves. We love ourselves too much, and we're trying to sit over here and constantly fight for rights and respect, and we see y'all sit over here who are quote unquote our allies get on the internet and talk so down on us and say that we will never be this, we will never be that, stop trying to be women, da 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 da. It's like you're pushing a stereotype, and you're pushing an agenda, and you're pushing misogyny, you're pushing ignorance at its finest. You're pushing that content, and you're pushing this message that trans women need to go hide themselves, trans women need to go be ashamed of themselves, when I'm not ashamed of myself. And every time I see a straight person, a gay person, somebody who is not trans speak on trans issues, it bothers me, because you are not trans. You don't know the backstory behind a trans person. You don't understand what a trans person is going through, and that's what bothers me. That's what makes me mad. That's what makes me want to go off. That's what makes me irritated. You don't know me. I don't know you. Why would me as a trans person speak on woman issues when I'm not a biological woman? That makes no sense. Why would me as a trans person speak on white people issues when I'm not white? Why would me as a trans person speak on school issues when I'm not in school? Like, that makes no sense. Like, that's what I don't understand about a lot of people. I will stand on this, and I'm gonna say this loud and proud. You are not me, and I am not you. I am a black trans woman. I am an individual, and I am an individual with feelings. I have feelings. I have a heart. And you can't just judge me based off something ignorant that you see, or you see something in the blogs that is negative. You need to get to know me as a human being. You need to know my sisters as humans. We're human beings with feelings. And I'm black, and I'm trans, and I'm beautiful, and I will always stand on that. I'm me, myself, and I will always stand up for myself, because I love myself enough. And I wish that there was more people who would understand that not every trans person that you see is negative or a stereotype or ghetto or trying to invade women's spaces. We're not all like that. We're not all ignorant. We're not all transitioning as a fetish. We're human beings with feelings, and that's what a lot of people need to understand. And I feel like we'll never be able to move forward as a community, as a society, as the world, if we're constantly bickering and fighting with each other and not hearing each other out. You need to hear somebody's story out before you judge them. You need to sit over here and actually be open-minded and try to talk to them. That's what I try to be as much, that's why I try to be as open-minded as I can be, because I understand that, I'm very grateful in the position that I'm in, but I don't know somebody else's story, and I'm judging somebody based off of a book or based off of, they saying this or this, that. Like, I don't know the backstory to their journey and their story, so I try to be open-minded as much as I can, and I wish that we as a society could be the same way.
Wake it up. Wake it up.
The next unpopular opinion that I have is that if you are a conservative trans woman or a conservative gay individual, you do not have no self-respect. I will say this loud and proud. You are very dumb, you are very ignorant, and you are very inconsiderate and incoherent. I don't understand a conservative trans person. I don't understand a conservative gay person. Like, how can you sit over here and support somebody who will always see you as a mental issue, a mental health issue, a mental disorder? You are transgender. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, how are you a male that was born assigned at birth, and then you transition to a female? They will always see you as a guy. You are a guy in their eyes. You're not a girl. You can't just sit over here and put on girl clothes in their eyes. So you sit over here supporting anybody who doesn't see you as a human being. Like, I see this a lot. Like, I see trans women sit over here and say that they're on the right or whatever.
Being trans is not an ideology. It's just an aspect of who I am. Not whole of who I am, an aspect of who I am. And so the idea that I have to hold certain political opinions, certain beliefs.
I'm a gay conservative, and I just want to kind of ask you, like, what do you have to say for people like me who kind of feel like, I guess, it's kind of hard for gay conservatives because there's not a lot of us.
First of all, welcome to the conservative movement. But if you ask from a perspective as a Christian, I don't agree with that lifestyle.
And I understand why a lot of trans women think the way they think, because like I understand that, you know, we see these crazy people who claim that they're trans, but they only came out as trans a day, and they're sitting over here telling trans women how to act, telling trans women what to do with their life, telling trans women how to move and present. Like, you haven't even walked your own path, and so how can you sit over here and tell another trans woman how to walk their path? It makes no sense to me. And I can't stand a trans woman who will get on the internet and say that you need hormones to be trans, you need hormones to pass, you need to pass to be considered trans. It's ignorant. It's like you're pushing a stigma, and you're pushing it. You're literally pushing like modern day misogyny in the trans, like in the trans eyes. I'm starting so bad, my bad, y'all. But like, it's like, I don't understand that type of content. I don't understand that type of opinion. I don't understand that type of thought process. Like, how can you even say that when you were in the same shoes, in the same boat as another trans woman? Like, this is what I understand about a lot of people. And I got into an argument with one of these trans women called Morgan. Morgan basically told me, and she came from my look, she was like, you know, you shouldn't even sit over here and claim to be trans and stuff like that. I would try to find a video right here.
You are not trans if you don't medically transition.
I had to stop you right there because you are weird and delusional. You have something that a lot of other trans people do not have: white privilege. Being trans isn't to please people, it's to please yourself and to be happy within yourself. My womanhood isn't defined if I pass or not, or if I'm on hormones or anything like that. My womanhood is defined by my inner happiness and my inner what I feel inside. And that's what being trans is: delusional. How are you trans yourself and you're spewing out this hatred? You need to click off, go ahead and go take some Benadryl, go fall asleep, and mind your business. Because to any of my trans girls, you are beautiful inside and out. You are a woman, you are a man. Love yourself for who you are and what you believe in instead of this delusional fuck. My womanhood isn't defined if I pass or not, or if I'm on hormones or anything like that. My womanhood is defined by my inner happiness and my inner what I feel inside. And that's what being trans is: delusional.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, sure. Identity's for you. Being trans is for you. But then it's very contradictory, because if it's for you, then why are you demanding to be called certain pronouns by other people? Why are you demanding to be seen and to be received by others, you know, in the light that you want to be seen and received as? You know, if it's so much for you, if it's all about you and what you think, like, then why does it matter? Why do we incorporate so many people in the mix? Why is it that it's so important, you know, what people think about us or people's opinions about us?
So this video did not age well. I feel like you clearly did not get where I was coming from. And the fact that you are trans yourself, it really baffles me. In your YouTube video, you was sitting over here misgendering me, saying he, I mean she. You clearly see that I'm trying to present as a woman. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. And it's the same question that I constantly get asked. Well, if you're trans and you know you're trans, why do you always want people to respect your pronouns? It's not that hard to respect people's pronouns, and that's what I'm trying to get across. It baffles me that we still have to have this conversation if someone is trans or not, if they're taking hormones or not. Like, literally, it's so stupid. You are trans. Did you or did you not have hormones when you started transitioning? Common sense. Every trans person has started without hormones. So how can you sit here and say, you know, you're not trans if you don't take hormones? That is so hypocrite. That's hypocrite. And then for you to sit here and be like, well, what's all that stuff on your face? You're ugly, this and that. Because that's what I'm getting off of your video. You trying to call me ugly. Baby, if I had acne or not, I still look beautiful. If I look like a man or not, I still look beautiful. If I'm tall or not, I'm still going to look beautiful. If I'm strong, I'm still going to be beautiful because I love my beautiful black trans self. And that's what I want you to understand. I don't need hormones to sit here and pass. I don't need none of this to sit here and look and present as a woman, because what I feel inside is what I feel inside. That's what being trans is. There's no debate about that at the end of the day. Even if I look like a man at the end of the day, I'm still going to be beautiful regardless, because I love myself. Period, point blank. And so what I don't understand is, like, I see trans women like that. I got into several altercations with trans women, not even altercations. It's like, you know, back and forth bickering, where I'm telling them, and I'm telling a lot of trans women, that it's not that you need to sit over here and medically transition and do this and do that. Like, I understand that in your time frame, like, you had to transition, you know, medically to be considered trans in your time frame. But I understand where you're coming from. But, like, what I don't understand as a trans individual, like, we all walked the same path. We were all without hormones. We were all dealing with negligent parents. We were all dealing with parents and people telling us who we can and cannot be. And then this is what I don't understand. Like, I'm a trans individual. I want to sit over here and be financially stable before I even sit over here and think to, you know, medically transition. This is what I don't understand about a lot of trans women. This could sit over here and offend anybody who's watching this. I don't mean to offend anybody, but this is something that you need to understand. How can you sit over here and be medically transitioning? You have hormones. You're doing all this stuff medically to try to please yourself on the outside, but you're still dying on the inside, and you're still depressed on the inside. You don't feel happy truly, but you only look happy on the outside. You only look beautiful on the outside, but you're not beautiful on the inside. And you still have so much self-hate issues. You still have so much insecurity inside. Like, I'm trying to build myself up. I'm trying to love myself, because this is what I understand about a lot of trans women. Why would you even medically transition when you still don't even love yourself and you still haven't even conquered your own insecurities and your own gender dysphoria? You need to go to a therapist. And this is what I don't understand about a lot of trans people. Like, you need to go to a therapist. You need to talk out the problems and the insecurities and all that stuff that's going on in your mind. You need to talk that stuff out and face it head on for you to be able to get through it. You get what I mean? And me as a trans individual, I'm only 19 years old. In the future, girl, y'all don't understand. I'm getting them hormones. I'm going to sit over here and finally get to where I want to be. I'm going to be medically transitioning. But what I don't understand about a lot of trans women who came from my transition and tell me that I'm not trans enough because I'm not on hormones, because I don't look the certain way, because I don't fit the stereotype. I'm not supposed to fit the stereotype. I'm black and I'm trans and I'm beautiful. I'm a different trans individual. Every trans person is different. Why would you sit over here and judge a book by its cover? That was what I was saying in the first clip. Why are you judging a book by its cover? Sit over here and try to hear a person out. And then on top of that, girl, let me sit over here and turn my TV off, because, girl, you're not going to interrupt. Bada bing, bada boom. But sitting over here getting back on track, like, what I don't understand is that me as a trans individual, like, why would I sit over here and, you know, medically transition and get all these surgeries, but I'm still living house hopping, you know, I'm, you know, sitting over here living motel to motel, selling my poom just to survive. I don't want to do that. I will, you know, sit over here and suffer and work my 9-to-5 job. I will sit over here and work my 2 jobs to make sure that I have money in my bank account to where I can sit over here and evolve, and I can sit over here and get to where I need to be. My main focus is getting out of Texas so I can get out this Republican nasty state and get out this evil state to where I can be able to medically transition freely without any, you know, sit over here like I will, how do I say this, without any repercussions of my transition, without any backlash of my transition. I don't want any repercussions when I start transitioning. I want to fully be myself, and I want to fully, you know, show up and show out for myself. I don't want to transition medically if I'm not in the right space, if I'm not in the right tax bracket. A lot of trans women only want this stuff for, you know, satisfaction, and only want this stuff to get a guy's attention, and not even just to get a guy's attention. A lot of trans women are thinking that when they get the surgeries that all their insecurities are going to go away. No, it won't. No, it won't. You're still going to feel insecure. You're still going to be battling with gender dysphoria. Gender dysphoria is not going to go over, it's not going to go away overnight. That's basically what I'm trying to say. And that's what I don't understand about a lot of people. They see a trans woman who doesn't pass, and they will sit over here and talk so much about them, but they'll see a trans woman who does pass and they'll glorify them. Why are you glorifying people when you don't even know a person's backstory? You are talking about somebody when you don't know their backstory. I say this loud and proud. When I get on hormones, y'all are going to gag. When I finally start medically transitioning, everybody is going to gag. Right now, I want to have money in my bank account. Right now, I want to be financially stable to sit over here and be able to pay for my own stuff and not to rely on insurance, because what if your insurance gets taken away? What if all this stuff happens? What if something happens? You have to prepare. All I'm going to say is, I stand on myself. I will always love myself. I'm black and I'm trans and I'm beautiful, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. And that's what a lot of people can't understand, is they just can't fathom the fact that I am trans. I wish I got into know Morgan a little bit better, because I only saw her on her ignorant side, and old me was judging her, judging a book by its cover. I didn't understand where she was coming from. But now I do, because I saw a clip like this.
Well, I don't consider myself female. I consider myself a trans woman. Although I would love to be a female if I had a button, if I could press a button and just like be that, and have a native for some babies.
Because there is a difference between a female
right,
and
I want to make a distinction, because I respect women very much, and I feel like there's a lot of disrespect of women, especially in media, and, a lot of representation for trans people that isn't the best, and it makes us look like we're trying to just like take over spaces and push women out, or just not consider a woman's feeling. And that's a blueprint, honey.
Now I understand where Morgan was coming from. Now I understand why she thinks the way that she thinks. And, I'm like, okay, now I understand. So now, if I was to ever get to talk to her again, I would be like, okay, my bad, sister. I understand where you're coming from. I didn't mean to come off like that. You get what I mean? I was just coming from my heart, and that's just truly how I felt. And now I understand why you truly felt the way you felt. And this is the last and final thing that I'm going to say. I don't understand any person who has hormones, who has the privilege to medically transition. That is a privilege. There's no run around it. It's a privilege to medically transition. It's a privilege to socially pass. That is a privilege. A lot of trans women will never be able to medically transition, never be able to sit over here and truly become the woman, become the person who they want to be and who they are, because of society, because of the environment they're in, because of the resources that they can't get. It's a privilege to pass. It's a privilege to medically transition. And it's a privilege for you as a conservative trans woman to get on camera and say the stuff that you're saying without getting a pitchfork up. Yo, let me stop, Buzz. You get what I mean. Bada bing, bada boom.
Next caller, because you ain't talking about nothing, bitch.
The next unpopular opinion that I have is that exposing a guy doesn't get you any cool points. A lot of trans women, and I know y'all might be like, oh girl, it's been getting a little dark. You look a little black, girl. Let's stay on topic, girl. No tea, no shade. But a lot of people in the trans community, they get the idea of exposing a guy when a guy treats them bad and treats them dirty. Honey, you're going to be 6 feet under, and nobody's going to sit over here and cry at your graveyard. Nobody's going to cry at your gravestone. Nobody's going to cry for you because you wanted to be stupid. I say this loud and proud. You are a trans individual, and you are seen as less than in society. There's no ifs, ands, there are no buts, and there's no run around it. I'm going to speak truthfully. I'm going to stand on it. You are a trans individual. You are a trans woman. Society will always see you as a man. Society will always see you as less than. Society will always crucify you. And if they thinking that you're sleeping with a guy, they're automatically gonna call him gay, stuff like that. This is what I don't understand about a lot of people. How as a community, how as a trans woman can you even sit over here and call a guy gay if you're a trans woman, if you're a woman? That's what I don't understand about a lot of people. Like, I identify as trans. I, present myself as trans. I identify also as straight because, like, yes, I love me a guy. I don't ever want to deal with a woman. I don't like women. I don't like the thought of a woman. I can't even fathom the fact of a woman. I like guys. I strictly like guys. I am like, basically a heterosexual. You get what I mean? I love my princess wine, no tea, no shade. But when I'm 30, girl, it gotta go, no tea, no shade. But let's get back on track. What I don't understand is that, like, a lot of trans women, they will sit over here and, they will deal with the trade. They will deal with the DLs. You know what you're getting yourself into when you're dealing with a DL, when you're dealing with a trade. They're gay, but they're not even gay. They're just, insecure with themselves. And a lot of DLs are, having the thought that they're gay, having the thought that, they're this way, they're that way. Whatever you do in the bedroom, that's what you do in the bedroom. I ain't the one to judge, girl, because you only live once, girl. Live your life. You know what I mean? But back on track, and I didn't mean to say what I said earlier. Back on track, a lot of, guys, when they're dealing with a trans woman, they don't want their secrets out, which I understand because it's like, society will crucify them. Society will tell them that they're less man, they're less manly, their masculinity is so fraudulent and fraud because they're dealing with a trans woman. Why would you even expose a guy? That's y'all's business. That's what y'all got going on. You knew what you were getting yourself into when you were dealing with the trading, when you were dealing with the DL. The guy doesn't want his business out there. So if he's sitting over here being fraudulent, messing with you, and also have his girlfriend, this and that, this is what I understand about a lot of people. And this isn't even pertaining to the trans community. How can you sleep with somebody who's in a relationship? I don't understand open relationships. I don't understand poly, multiple partners. I don't understand that. All I think about when I hear multiple is STDs. Like, I'm a 304. I'm proud 304. Get up into it. But I don't understand, there's a time and place for everything. There's a time and place for your 304-ness. That is nasty to deal with somebody who's in a relationship. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So when you're dealing with somebody who's in a relationship, when you see that they're being weird and this and that, why would you even sit over here and get the fact and get the thought to expose them when you knew what you were dealing with? They're going to be weird. They're going to be weird. They're going to be fraudulent. They're going to be, secretive. And they're not going to talk to you from time to time. They're going to block you. They're going to ghost you because they're in a relationship. They're trying to hide who they truly are, and they're trying to hide who they're attracted to. They're attracted to you, the beautiful queen that you are, the beautiful sister that you are. I almost said beautiful black queen, but girl, some of y'all I know are not, my skin tone, girl. Let me stop. But back on track, like, girl, you need to have some self-accountability. This is why I say sometimes you really do need to love yourself. Like me, how I even mess with somebody in a relationship? I don't remember, girl. My body count is high. But like, girl, I don't do that. Like, if a guy tells me that he's in a relationship now, it's definitely present now. I'm talking about the past, but now present, if a guy tells me that he's in a relationship, if a guy tells me, like, I have a girlfriend, we got to be secretive, blocked, immediately blocked. Because I look at it like this. I wouldn't want my boyfriend, I wouldn't want my partner to go out the side of the relationship and do me dirty. If, I believe in karma. I believe what you put out in this world always comes back to you. So stand 10 toes down. Stop sitting over here doing that, because you don't get any representation in the media. Let alone if you do get representation in the media, it's always negative. So if you're black and you're a black trans woman, don't even fix your mouth to expose a guy. Don't even fix your fingers to type, hey y'all, I'm dealing with this trade. He's, a homosexual. He's this way. He's that way. Shut up. Shut up. Because when he spins the block and he, takes you off of this planet, and now you're gone and nobody's sitting over here rooting for you. We have cases like this.
I don't give a fuck how fine they are. I don't give a fuck how big they dick is. To all my LGBTQIA plus members out there, stop fucking with these DL men. They are us at alarming rates. I'm trying to tell you. And a lot of the times, it's not even necessarily what they want to do. These are gang members. So if it's found out that you're doing some shit that's not gang, bitch, you got to go handle that. So if you are if you are a gay boy, if you are any umbrella of the LGBTQIA+, these niggas is not supposed to be fucking with you. If they big homie find out that they're fucking with you, they're gonna be ordered to come and kill you. Hate to say it. Stop being so fucking naive, dumb, and vulnerable. There's plenty of people out there that will love you and treat you how you want to be treated. And the reason why I'm saying that is because there's a gang member named Devontae Ford who's now on the run after being found guilty for the murder of a trans woman named Skylar Gilmore. On Friday, October 4th, jurors found two gang members, Jaquan Brooks, 25 years old, and Devontae Ford, guilty of malice murder, 2 counts of felony murder, aggravated assault, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, and possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, stemming from the shooting death of Skylar Gilmore on June 4th, 2021. Police said they were called to Gilmore's residence around 2 a.m. on June 4th, 2021 by a female friend of Gilmore. Police found Gilmore unresponsive in her bathroom, suffering from a single gunshot wound to the torso. She was taken to a local hospital where she later died. Investigators used cell phone data to place Ford and Brooks at Gilmore's apartment at the time of her murder. The friend told police on the scene that Gilmore was involved in survival, a form of prostitution where someone engages in exchange for basic necessities like food or shelter. It was found during the investigation the gang ordered Gilmore to be killed because she was having sex with one of their gang members. While Ford remains a fugitive, Brooks appeared at trial and was taken into custody following his conviction. Stop. I understand sometimes it gets lonely. I understand this world teaches us to hate ourselves and also tells other people that should love us to hate us. But I promise y'all, I would much rather be single and stay in my goddamn house with my peace of mind and touch myself and make myself scream and holler.
I'm tired of it. I'm 45 years old. I've been seeing this go on for 30 years. 15 years old, one of my friends, his name was Purg. And we went on school on, what's April? Spring break. We went on spring break when it was my 9th grade year of school. I don't want to cry about this shit. James Walker was the first queen that I had ever seen in my life. Was the very first queen that I had ever came in contact with in my life. I come from a Christian home. We have all that mama, so I had never ever seen anything else that was closely remote like me. And she would come to school. She would have a Jerry curl. She would have a Patrick Ewing shoes on. She would have her black and white socks pulled up, and she'd have a black and white socks pulled up. She was real thick in body and really feminine. Used to wear crop shirts like she had to. She was nothing else but a girl. But we were 14, 15-year-old kids. I was so in awe and I was so taken back by because I'd never seen anything like that. And she said, Timothy, why you eat your food like that? You know you a girl. And I was like, what? You know? She said, you're supposed to eat your food like this. And she started, so I was in awe of her.
Right,
in awe.
right.
We went home for spring break. I came back. She never came back. She was killed at 15 years old by some boys. They shot her dead, and she ran and she died in the closet. I cried viciously. I heard that she was killed by some boys that had been fucking around with her. They knew where she was. Like she was a young boy that was soft, fleshy body, you know, a girl. But Jerry curl, she was black. And it was oozing femininity. Oozing. She wasn't gonna be no fucking man. And I say, that was 30 years ago. And I say to myself, I wonder what her life would have been like.
There's cases like that where trans women don't get any representation, trans women don't get any push in the media. There's trans women that will never ever get talked about and their story will never get heard because they are trans, and there's no real, there's no real media coverage when it comes to a trans woman. This is why I say you have to be a strong individual and you have to have some self-love, and you got to know yourself as a person to understand what you're dealing with and how you're moving throughout life. I'm a trans individual, so I would rather mess with a queer person. I would rather mess with a bisexual person or somebody who has already dealt with trans women or who is comfortable within themselves. I like comfortable men. I don't like dealing with the DLs. I might dabble and dabble with a DL from time to time, but like, girl, I would never sit over here and fall in love with a DL. You gotta be crazy, girl. I only fall in love with the I love me some homosexuals, girl. Let me stop. What? The next unpopular opinion that I have is that you don't need hormones. You don't need to socially pass to be considered trans. A lot of people don't understand that every trans person has walked the path where they were looking like a butch queen, where they were looking clocky, where they were looking like, Cinderella and the frog and the crowfish. Girl, you was looking beat up, okay? It's okay to look beat up. I never beat myself up when I go out in public and I look clocky or somebody clocks my tea. I never beat myself over it. I might, get self-conscious about it, but then I reassure myself, it's like, girl, it ain't the end of the world if somebody clocks my tea and be like, oh my God, you're a freaking man. Oh my God, you're trans. Who cares? I would rather you know that I'm trans, and I would rather you already know who I am so I don't have to keep explaining myself and explaining my struggles. I'm trans. Hi, Bookie Bears. Get up into the big prom. Your favorite black transsexual. Hello. You don't need to be passable to be considered trans, and I will stand on that because, like I said, every trans person has walked that walk, and there's times where not even times, like, how do I say this? There's parts of the world where it's illegal to be even gay. It's illegal to be trans, let alone like a lady boy. Like, it's illegal for you to be yourself because people will truly never understand you and truly want to open their minds up and try to understand a queer person. This is why I always want to see a next Marsha P. Johnson. Like, I want an advocate. Like, I want somebody with a platform who is actually social media famous to speak up on these type of issues. This is why I don't glorify people. This is why I don't glorify trans people seriously, because it's like nobody really wants to speak up on real issues. And this is what I'm talking about when I say, like, you don't need hormones, because it's like, although, like, yes, you want to get on hormones to like be socially passable, to feel more of a woman, to be feeling more of a man, if you're a trans man and stuff like that. which kudos to you, girl. But there's trans people that will never be able to get those stuff because they're broke, because they're living paycheck to paycheck, because they're struggling, because, you know, their parents kicked them out at such a young age, so they had to fend for themselves. You know, there's homeless trans women. Like, you have to take accountability. That's a privilege. I would say that it's a privilege to be, you know, it's a privilege to come out as trans. It's a privilege to, you know, live your life openly as a trans woman or a trans man. It's a privilege to sit over here and get on those hormones, to start medically transition, to even socially transition, because people cannot understand and cannot wrap their heads around a man trying to be a woman or a woman trying to be a man. They just can't understand that when we all are trying to be individuals and we're all trying to walk our own walk. This is why I will always say, like, I love myself even if nobody likes me. I will always love myself because I'm black and I'm trans and I'm beautiful. And I say this to all of my black trans women. Y'all are the most beautiful trans people in my personal opinion. Girl, and I know a lot of people might like cancel me. I don't care, girl. I say this loud and proud. Black trans women have walked their path and they have walked their walk. Did we seen in those headlines, we seen in those history books, they were really on the front line speaking up, because I feel like a lot of us have stories. A lot of us have a story to tell. And it's crazy because it's like a lot of us don't want to speak up because we're ashamed of ourselves. We're ashamed of our past. I'm not ashamed of my past. I embrace my past. You know, I embrace everything that happened in my past as well. Like, I love myself. I'm black and I'm trans and I'm beautiful. Like, I just want to sit over here and love myself without the hormones, without the surgeries, because I know if I was to never be able to get the surgeries, I would just still be able to love myself without them. You get what I mean? Because a lot of trans women beat themselves up because they're insecure, because they don't fucking fit the, you know, society beauty standard. They don't sit over here and look the, you know, most feminine, and their voice is so deep. Who cares? Like, I say this loud and proud. Like, the past week my voice has been like, you know, I would not even lie, like my voice has been like, you know, changing. Like, I've had voice cracks and my voice has gotten deeper. Like, I feel like, you know, how do I, like, oh, actually it doesn't work today. Well, yeah, but yesterday when I was recording one of my videos, my voice literally dropped mid video, and I cut the part out because it was like, it was scary that my voice went so deep. I literally sounded like Peter Griffin. Like, I was like, whoa, oh my god, like, girl, this is giving caveman, hello. But I didn't beat myself up over it. I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna embrace myself, because I see trans women like this. I have something to confess as a trans woman who passes. So
I ain't no hater. I'm not trying to be funny, so I hope that this does not come off that way. Let's be real and let's just be honest with everyone and ourselves. So, firstly speaking, passable, very strong word to use. Love your confidence. You're very beautiful. You're very pretty. Passable, to me, not so much. To me, not so much. As far as labels, if you're not taking hormones, identify as trans. I think some trans women identify as trans, but typically we're transgender. If you take hormones, transgender. If you're not on hormones, trans, non-binary. I think that sticks. Transsexual, hoochie down at the bottom. Right? Am I making sense? So, to the girls in the community that identify and want to identify as trans feminine, be mindful of the labels that you use to describe yourself, because it affects other people in the community and how people may view us. I am not endorsing or considering that you have to take hormones to be trans. No, not at all. But in my opinion, to call yourself transgender, a transgender woman, you need to be on some type of hormones, some type of blockers, dressing like a girl full time, not jumping in and out. That's passable. If I take this shirt off, put on a regular t-shirt from my boyfriend's wardrobe, it's still gonna give female. And again, you are beautiful, but it's not as easy for some people who consider themselves to be like you and use those labels. Clock it. And I really never thought that I would see, in my 28 years of living, the opposite of dysphoria. Passable. That's funny to me. No shade. It's funny to me because there are so many transgender women who have surgeries, all kind of different surgeries, to make them feel, you know, comfortable. And then they look in the mirror and they have dysphoria. And they feel like they look unlike they're supposed to. So, passable is a very strong word. Let's stick to pretty. Let's stick to feminine. Let's stick to androgynous. And I know it's cute and cunty to feel like you're passing. I know some people may tell you that you're the because they're your friend, or Trey want to gas you up. But I'm here to tell you this thing. Transgender women carry yourself in a certain way. Most. Because we know that we have to uphold just the society and the image, the societal image. So let's be mindful of other people in the community and how it may affect them. And again, I'm not saying this to bash anyone. It's just my opinion. A lot of people have people in their life that are yes men. Oh girl, you're real as rain. Oh girl, you're this, you're that, da 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 da. And you get outside and everybody calling you he. Do real women wear boys' clothes sometimes? Do real women wear girls' clothes all the time? No. But If you get what I'm saying, you get what I'm saying. I don't get how you can use passable in the same sentence when you scroll down your page. It's literally you with a do-rag on, looking like he, him. They, them. So let's work on this. No, you don't have to take hormones to be trans, but you gotta do something.
I say this loud and proud. I don't have severe gender dysphoria, especially anymore. Like, I really don't look at my insecurities. I don't look at the things that I dislike about myself. The biggest insecurity that I used to have is that I was born a biological male, that I'm transgender. Another insecurity is that, you know, I have a third leg. But then I look at it like this. I look in the mirror and I'm like, dang, outside of that, baby, whew, you look so much beautifuler in the mirror, girl. Forget the phone. The phone camera be lying, girl, to all of us. No tea, no shade, girl. No tea, no shade. But, like, you know, I'm looking at myself, I'm like, dang, you're actually very beautiful. You're actually very, you know, you're very beautiful in your own way. And you, even though I look trans, even though I got the trans look, I don't beat myself up over it because it's like I'm so beautiful looking trans. So imagine if I wasn't, you know, looking trans, I would be even more beautiful. I would be more incredible. Like, I know I'm here for a reason, and every trans person is here for a reason because we all have stories. And I say this loud and proud, every trans individual, you have a story to tell, and your story is magical, your story is beautiful because your story is impactful. That's what I'm trying to say. It's inspirational. It's all my trans women who are very insecure about, you know, what they got going on. You're very beautiful. And that's all I got to say with that topic.
Now that's how you clear a bitch.
And the last and final unpopular opinion that I have, and this one's going to ruffle everybody's feathers, get up into the blackness or whatever. If you don't see that there's colorism in the trans community, you are part of the problem. A lot of people don't understand the privilege to pass. A lot of people don't understand the privilege to get on hormones. When I was speaking about the privilege that some of those trans women who are conservative have, they have white privilege. You have the privilege to sit over here and not, you know, have people, you know, walking in, you know, behind you in stores or sitting over here, you know, on the walkie-talkie saying, oh, you know, make sure this person ain't stealing. You don't have, you know, people sitting over here saying that, you know, you need to act a certain way, you need to present yourself a certain way because you're like, how do I explain it? I'm gonna insert a clip right here because I don't want to say too much.
I just said I don't like women with my complexion. I like light-skinned women. I want you to be lighter than me. I love African-American women, but I just don't like my skin complexion.
Okay, well, I like your skin complexion.
We too gutter. Black people, my complexion, we too gutter. Light-skinned women, they more sensitive, you know?
There's some dark-skinned women out here sensitive.
No, they too tough. They too tough. Light-skinned women, we could break them down more easy, you know what I'm saying?
You feel that there are a lot of advantages. Tell me about how you see yourself and then how you feel the world or you look at these women on the stage.
Well, being both African American, we all go through hard times and struggles. But to be a darker skinned African American woman versus someone who is assumed to be mixed, my struggles are definitely a lot harder than yours would be. I heard you say that, you know, people assume that you're mixed and then that you go and they say, where are you from? Are you from Indonesia? The excitement that they feel for you is the contempt that they feel towards me. When I walk into a room, I'm slave black. That's it. That means I'm dark.
What is slave black?
That means that I'm really dark skinned. There's no other way. All the bad stuff associated with black
people. I've been black for 34 years. I have never heard slave black.
You know, like sometimes you can pass maybe for mixed or maybe white. When you're slave black, you can't pass for anything other than black.
Did you make this up?
That's what it, yes.
You made up slave black, okay, because there were a lot of slaves of all different colors.
Yes, there were. When I say that, that's saying all the negative connotations. Like, you remember the field versus the house?
Got it.
I'm in the field. There's no way.
But that's exactly the problem, the slave mentality, the connotation that being light or looking more like massa is better than a person who is darker skinned. Right. That's not my problem. That's society's problem. You can't change everybody, but you can change yourself and how you think of yourself.
When those type of girls walk into a room, is there a contempt that you feel inside?
It's not more of a contempt, but it's more of a, there's always going to be, you guys have it a lot easier. And from the moment that we walk in to a room together, it's evident. When I look at TV, it's evident. You can identify with the people you see on a commercial. I can't 90% of the time. You can walk into a store and find hair products and makeup that works for you. I can't. When people walk up to me, are you from a different country? Are you maybe from are you maybe Guyanese or something? No. Oh. Like, they're almost disappointed because I'm just black.
Can you tell me why you started to bleach your skin?
It's like you growing up in school, you have mainly guys making fun of your skin color and calling you charcoal, calling you dark. So growing up, you just start to feel like, oh, okay, no one likes me because of my skin color. Like, okay, I see. So that kind of does something to your head, you feel me? And also we have social media. They do praise lighter skinned women, Latinas, whatever, pale skinned women. So that kind of makes you feel like you're not desired, you feel me? So, and that's why I started bleaching my skin. That's why I started skin lightening because of it. You know?
I think dark-skinned women are at a disadvantage. Even how we're represented in media, like we're always the strong, independent Black woman, or we're masculine, or we're the ghetto ratchet girl. Like we're never the feminine or the classy, acceptable Black person. Like we're always deemed as this typical stereotype of a Black woman. And TV shows like Martin and stuff, like with Shanae, it's just things like that.
I've inserted a bunch of clips, and I was just saying those as an example. Like, you know, those are all examples. I really wish I could like deeply talk on this topic, but I need to sit over here and tread lightly, so I'm not going to say everything that I want to say in this video. But I will say this because I don't want this video to be too long. There is a problem when it comes to representation in the trans community. I only see representation of lighter skinned trans women, and if it's a dark skinned trans woman, you know, it's like a stereotype. I never see the average trans woman. I never see the trans woman who's in her youth, you know, she's in her, you know, prime. She's, you know, doing her biggest one. I never hear like real stories of trans women. It's always the influencer. It's always the baddie. It's always the person who passes. And then if it's not, it's always the, you know, the streetwalker. It's always this. It's always that. It's just a never average person. Like, I feel like there's no real representation in the trans community of lighter skinned trans women, of darker skinned trans women, my bad. And also, like, I never see anything about Latina trans women. Like, I really never ever actually, now thinking about it, making this video, I only hear about biracial trans women, mixed trans women, and white trans women, for real. Like, actually really look into that. Look into that. There's no real conversation about that because nobody really cares about that. And all I would say is this, like, I wish there was more representation for me and my dolls about all this stuff. Like, yes, I know there's shows, yes, I know there's TV shows, but I'm talking about mainstream representation. I'm not talking about no local representation. I'm not talking about no, you know, underrated movie transition, you know, representation. I'm talking about media mainstream representation. I'm talking about, you know, on the news. I'm talking about, you know, in your face. I'm talking about award shows. I'm talking about, you know, the halftime show. I'm talking about like real representation. There's none of that, and it bothers me. I don't know, y'all. Like, I really wish that, you know, there was more dolls like me. Like, I've always wanted to look up, like, if I was to glorify a trans woman, she would not be, you know, this skin tone. She would be dark skin or Latina. I feel like I can relate to somebody who's of a minority than a trans woman who's white. And it's not like it plays race, but like, it's not like that. Like, I feel like a lot of us dark skinned trans women go through a lot. Like, we get fetishized more. Like, you know, there's men that will sit over here and tell me that they like my dark skin and they love my afro. Even a girl, not gonna lie, this is a wig, no tea, no shade for the people who are watching, but like, you know, they're like, oh my god, I love your hair, I just want to grip your hair, I just want to sit over here and you know make dark babies with you. Girl, what? And it was a time where I wasn't, you know, sitting over here being, you know, upfront with my transition, upfront with my transness. And the guys would be like, you know, I love a dark-skinned woman. You know, I love a black woman. And then it wouldn't even be that. Like, I want to say like the M word. Like, people would call me, you know, ee-oo, ah-ah. Like, they would literally call me ee-oo, ah-ah on them apps and stuff. It's like, ooh, okay, you know, slay queen. But yes, there's a problem in this community, and I wish more people were talking about it. But anyway, girl, bada bing, bada boom. I just wanted to make this unpopular opinion video. I hope, you know, nobody eats me up alive and, you know, cancels me, truthfully. But I really wish somebody would bring up this conversation, girl. And I might make a real video on the last topic, but, you know, you only live once, girl. So bada bing, bada boom. I gotta go sit over here and edit. But I love you guys. Straight Nicki Minaj, and I gotta go. Bye, love.